I want you to start by picturing a specific kind of person. We've all encountered her at least once in our lives. Picture a woman who walks into a room and she never, ever has to speak the loudest to command it. She doesn't dominate the conversation, she isn't overly flashy, yet when she opens her mouth, the whole room just naturally leans in to listen. Have you ever wondered how she does that? Today, we're exploring the quiet power of feminine communication. It's a massive shift in psychology and emotional intelligence that literally changes everything about how we connect with others. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see communication and maybe even yourself in a completely different light. So, have you ever met a woman like this? You might assume her secret is traditional, loud confidence, or maybe she's just incredibly extroverted, or perhaps you think it's physical beauty. But here is the hidden truth. Her secret isn't about volume, and it's definitely not about visual perfection. It's about a quiet, magnetic power. It's a way of moving through the world that is deeply rooted in emotional healing. It comes from having a regulated nervous system and a deeply anchored sense of self-worth. It's about being so secure in who you are that you don't need to force anyone to listen. They just want to. And here is where most of us get it wrong. We're often taught that being a great communicator means having the perfect vocabulary, being fiercely independent, or always having the sharpest comeback ready. But the truth is, feminine communication completely flips that script. It's absolutely not a tool for control, and it's never about manipulation. Instead, it's about creating a space where people feel deeply respected, incredibly understood, and emotionally safe. A woman connected to this soft feminine energy doesn't speak to prove she's right. She doesn't speak to manipulate a situation or win a power struggle. She communicates simply to connect, and that changes the whole dynamic. Let's dive right into our first section, the power of quiet presence. The most impactful person in a room is rarely the one who is constantly speaking. It sounds so simple, right? But I want you to really think about it. How often do we listen just to reply? Are you actually listening, or are you just anxiously waiting for your turn to speak so you can prove your point? A truly elegant communicator does something radically different. She becomes fully present. She notices the subtle emotions beneath the words. She listens with genuine open curiosity. Because let's be honest, this kind of focused, empathetic attention is incredibly rare today. Giving it to someone is a profound expression of respect. It instantly makes the other person feel incredibly valued and deeply seen. It's like you're quietly telling them, you matter enough for me to just be here with you. And, it's not just about how you listen to others. It's about how you pace yourself. Have you ever noticed how anxiety makes us rush? We fear silence, we fear judgment. So we desperately try to fill every quiet moment with chatter, just to keep the peace and manage everyone else's feelings. But a grounded woman does the exact opposite. She allows herself to breathe. She embraces small, quiet pauses. She allows her nervous system to actually settle before she responds. Speaking a little more slowly doesn't make you sound less intelligent. Actually, it does the exact opposite. It projects a deep, calm confidence. Her presence feels peaceful to others because she's allowing herself the space to think and exist without rushing and without apologizing for taking up time. Moving on to section 2, honesty without aggression. This is such a big one. So many of us grew up believing we only really have two choices in relationships. Choice 1, you stay silent, you swallow your feelings, and you become a people pleaser to avoid abandonment. Or choice 2, you push it down for so long that you eventually explode in anger and frustration. But there is a third way. Let's compare two approaches. When we say, you never care about me, it's completely rooted in pain, right? Our inner child is hurting. But saying that immediately forces the other person's nervous system into fight or flight mode. It creates instant defensiveness. But what if we shift that to, I've been feeling disconnected lately and I'd love to spend more time together? It expresses the exact same underlying need, but instead of attacking, it invites understanding. It invites them in. Strength doesn't always have to sound loud or angry to be incredibly effective. But here is a gentle reminder. Real kindness has to include yourself. Being feminine, being soft, and being understanding does not mean you have weak boundaries. You don't have to agree with everything just to avoid a conflict, and you certainly do not need to apologize just for existing or having a need. Authentic communication honors your own truth. The exact moment you abandon yourself just to keep everyone else comfortable, your communication completely loses its authenticity. You end up building resentment instead of connection. You always have to be on your own side first. That brings us to section 3, the courage of vulnerability. This leads us to a fascinating paradox about human behavior. We often think vulnerability is weak, but true emotional connection actually requires an immense amount of bravery. Saying simple things like, I felt hurt, or I really need some support right now, or even, you know what, I just don't have all the answers. That can feel terrifying, especially when we've been conditioned to hide our emotions just to appear strong, independent, and capable. But here's the surprising part. Pretending everything is perfectly fine when it's not, that actually builds walls. Sharing our true feelings, admitting our fears, or just asking for help, that builds trust incredibly fast. People connect with authenticity. They don't connect with perfection. Vulnerability isn't a weakness at all. It's the ultimate honesty, and it is incredibly magnetic.
Let's move to Section 4, creating emotional safety.
This might just be the most overlooked communication skill of all time, and I promise you it can literally transform any relationship in your life. Think about the people you feel most at ease with, the ones you can just completely be yourself around. It's probably because you know, deep down, they won't judge you. Cultivating this kind of safe environment for others means leading with curiosity before criticism. It means offering compassion before jumping to negative assumptions. And most importantly, it means never, ever weaponizing someone's past mistakes against them in moments of conflict. When you offer this level of emotional safety, people naturally let their guard down. They open their hearts to you because their nervous system finally feels safe enough to rest in your presence.
And now, our final section, Section 5, speaking from true self-worth.
This is the absolute core of everything we've discussed today. It's a deep psychological pivot regarding where our words actually come from. When we communicate from a place of fear, our internal dialogue sounds a bit like this. I need to convince them. I need them to agree with me. I can't disappoint anyone. And that creates a massive amount of overthinking and relationship anxiety. You can literally feel the tension in your body. But when we speak from a healed place of self-worth, the narrative completely shifts. It becomes, my voice matters. I seek connection, not just blind agreement. Communicating from fear aggressively seeks approval. But communicating from self-worth seeks genuine connection, and it creates a profound sense of inner peace. It's the difference between trying to frantically grab onto someone and simply standing warmly with your arms open. Because it all comes down to this profound truth. The way you treat yourself quietly shapes the way you speak to everyone else. If your internal monologue is harsh, if you're constantly critical of yourself, your external conversations are naturally going to become tense and rigid. You just can't fake it. But when you actively practice self-compassion, when you finally find a little bit of peace and grace within yourself, your words naturally soften. They become so much more intentional. Feminine communication isn't a script you memorize or a trick to get people to like you. It is a direct, beautiful reflection of your own inner healing and self-love. The wonderful Maya Angelou famously said, "People rarely remember every word you say, they remember how they felt in your presence." And that hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? True elegance in how we relate to one another isn't just seen or heard, it is deeply felt in the nervous system. It's the warmth, the safety, and the validation you provide simply by being grounded in exactly who you are without needing to prove anything to anyone. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a little reflection. Which feminine communication trait are you ready to practice this week? Is it taking a pause before speaking? Is it speaking from your own truth instead of people-pleasing? Remember, you never ever need to speak louder to be heard. The most magnetic, unforgettable conversations always begin with a peaceful soul. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments what you're ready to let go of today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.